Lesson 9 is division with your remainder as a decimal. That's Common Core Standard for 6th grade number sense 2. Go ahead and copy the title down into your notes. Push pause until you're ready to begin. In Lesson 8, we learned to show the remainder as a fraction. Another way to show the remainder or the leftover amount is as a decimal. When we deal with money, we use decimals. Anything less than a whole dollar is represented in decimal form. Again, the remainder just means there's not enough for a full amount, so we just represent what amount is left over. Fractions and decimals are the same thing, they're just a different way to show it. So, for example, like we talked about in Lesson 8, 50 cents is the same as half a dollar. So we could represent it as decimal of 0.50 or just 0.5, or we can represent it as half, 1/2. They're the same amount. Half a pizza is 0.5 of the pizza. So decimals and fractions are the same thing. So we're just going to learn to do both. But before moving forward with this lesson, I want to talk a little bit about place value. Several lessons ago, we reviewed place value, and we had the ones place, the tens place, the hundreds place, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, blah, blah. Well, on the other side of the number line, the place values, it doesn't start with a oneths place. For some reason, it just doesn't. So, so we have a tenths place, th at the end. Try not to spit on people when you say that, tenths. And then a hundredths, and then a thousandths. I'll just say thousands. That's supposed to be a T. Thousandths. And it goes on, but really, for the purposes of the division we're about to do, there's two things I want you to keep in mind. First of all, when we're dealing with money, we only go to the hundredths place. We don't say, $1 and 257 cents. We stop here at 25 cents. So we don't do that. So I want to, when we divide, we'll just kind of keep that in mind. I don't want you guys dividing forever and ever and ever, because some of those numbers can go on forever and ever. So what I want you to keep in mind is if you find yourself dividing and you go to the tenths, then the hundredths, when you get to the thousandths place, if it's going to keep going, just stop at the thousandths place. If it is a 5 or higher in the thousandths place, then round the hundredths place up. If it is a 4 or lower in the thousandths place, then round the hundredths place down. For example, if you're dividing and you have 4.65, and in this thousandths place is going to be a 7, that's a 5 or higher. So round this to 4.66 and stop dividing. It's good enough. Or if you have 4.652, the number in the thousandths place is the 2. It's 4 or lower. So we just leave the hundredths place as it is, 4.65, and leave it alone. And then kick that guy to the curb and just move on. So we'll just use this piece to know if we're rounding up or staying the same. So just a quick review there. I don't want you having to divide past the thousandths place. All right, so now let's get to the lesson. Okay, so this is the I do one. So be sure you're watching and listening, but you don't need to write this down right now. So I have 953 divided by 12. And I'm going to put my gel cells there, keep everything in line. These are going to become really important with these decimals that are coming in. So we divide like normal. The division is going to stay the same. So that's the good news, especially now that you've gone through about 3 or 4 lessons now with division, so you should be really good at it by now. 12 fitting into 9 is just not going to. Put a 0 there saying so. 12 fitting into 95. It'll fit. That's about 10, and that's about 100. So, and it's not going to be 10 times because in each little spot you can only fit 9 or less. So I'm going to go ahead and experiment with a 9 12 times 9 is 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 1 is 9 plus 1 is 10. Oh, I blew my eyebrows off on that one. Let's go with 12 times 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 1 is 8 plus 1 is 9. Still blew my eyebrows off. Okay, 7 times 2 is 14. This one will work for sure. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 1 is 8. So it's going to be 7. And I get 84. 5 take away 4 is 1. 9 take away 8 is 1. Check and make sure that your remainder is less than your divisor. It is barely, huh? Okay. So now I can invite the next guy to play. 12 into 113. Well, in my math lab I already did that, so it's going to be 9. And that's 108. And subtract, I would borrow there. 13 minus 8 is 5. 0 minus 0, nothing. 1 minus 1, nothing. That is smaller than that. That's good. Okay, so now we come to the new part of this. Before, yesterday, or whenever we did lesson 8, we just called it 5/12. 79 and 5/12 would have been our answer. But this time we put it in decimal form. And think about at the swimming pool, if you go to the swimming pool and the lifeguard's there and somebody's drowning in there and he takes that little round lifesaver thing and throws it at them to save their life. So we've got a drowning 5 and we're going to throw some lifesavers at it. So we're going to go ahead, if there is no decimal in a number, it's hanging out in the shadows at the end of the number. So we're going to go ahead and show it up there. And we're going to float it straight up to the top. And then we're going to put a lifesaver and send it down to the drowning 5. So now it's 50. And you want to add your jail cells. Your jail cell goes right over the decimal. Okay. Now I'm doing 12 into 50. 12 is close to 10 and 50 is 50. So, but it's a little over, 12 is a little over 10. So I'm going to guess with a 4. 12 times 4, I'm thinking. 4 times 2 is 8, and 4 times 1 is 4. Yep, that's as many times as that's going in there. So we're going to put a 4 there. So we're just dividing like we were before. It's all the same after that. I've gone to my tens place so far, so I'm still good. 10 take away 8 is 2. 4 take away 4 is nothing. Check and make sure your remainder is less than your divisor. Yes, Mrs. Sanchez, it's fine. Throw another lifesaver down at the drowning 2. And so 12 into 20 only goes once. 10 take away 2 is 8. 1 take away 1 is nothing. Check to make sure remainder's less than the divisor. It is. And I'm going to throw one last lifesaver down. Because remember I said you can divide to the tenths place to the hundredths place. But when you get to the thousandths place, this one, if it's going to make you keep dividing, don't keep dividing. Just find out, is this one 5 or higher? If it is, then we're going to make this one a 2. If it's 4 or lower, then we're going to make this stay a 1. So you really, sometimes I just multiply this times 5 to find out is it going to be 5 or higher or 4 or lower. In my math lab I have 12 times 7 was 84. So 12 times 6, this is probably going to be a 6 here. So that's an up number. That's going to force this one upward. So instead of continuing to divide, we're just going to round it and stop, because in money terms we stop at that hundredths place. So we're just going to stop there. So your answer is going to be 79.42. Again, 2 because this one forces this one to go up for rounding purposes, if you remember our rounding lesson from way back. So your answer is 79.42. So all the same division, just a little bit of a change. Alright, so let's do the we do. Go ahead and copy this down into your notes and copy along with me as I go. We have 1,568 divided by 22. I'm going to put my gel cells in there. I'm going to put a few extra because I know I'm going to probably need them. I'm going to extend that out. Okay, I'm ready to play. Will 22 fit into 1? No. So I've got to say so, and then I can invite the next number. 22 into 15? You know what? No, that's not fitting either. I've got to say so. Invite the next number. 22 into 156. Yeah, that's going to fit. That's close to 20. And that's close to 160. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 20, 40, 60. That's 8. So I was counting on my fingers. 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 20, 40, 60. So I figured around 7 or 8. I'm going to try times 7 because it's a little more. This is a little more than 20. It's 22. So let's experiment in the math lab with 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Ooh, it's a good thing I did 7 and not 8. I would have blown my eyebrows off. So it's 7, and that's 154. 6 take away 4 is 2. 5 take away 5, nothing. 1 take away 1, nothing. Mrs. Sanchez always makes me check. Is my remainder less than my divisor? Yes, it is. And so I can invite the next player. 22 into 28, that's easy. It's just going to go 1 time. 8 take away 2 is 6. Okay. Yesterday, or whenever we did lesson 8, we would have said, 71 and 6/22, or 3/11 once it was reduced. But today we're not doing that because we're taking it to the decimal. So I show the decimal up at the end of the number because it didn't show up anywhere else. And I float it straight to the top. And I throw one of those lifesavers that the lifeguard throws to drowning people and throw it to the drowning 6. So now he's 60. 22 into 60 now. It's gonna go, I was thinking 3, but that's gonna be over 60. It's gonna be 2, 44, because 22 times 3, 30 times 2 is 6, and 3 times 2 is 6. It's 66. Too much, of course. So it's 2. Gives me 44. I've got to subtract, and this one I've got to borrow. 10 minus 4 is 6. 5 minus 4 is 1. Check and make sure. 16 is smaller than 22. That's good. That took me only to my 10th place. I still need my 100th place. So I'm going to throw my 100th place lifesaver down to save the 16. 22 into 160. Well, this is going to be what it is, because if I add 22 to that, it's going to be over. So it's nice when my math lab gives me the answer. I like that. So 7 here, then I put 154 here. Subtract, I've got to borrow. 10 minus 4 is 6. 5 minus 5, nothing. 1 minus 1, nothing. And my remainder is less than my divisor, so I'm still good to go. I did the 10th place, I did the 100th place. Remember that 1000th place is just to decide, am I rounding the 100th place up or leaving him as a 7? So we'll find out. Throw the lifesaver down. And 22 into 60, well, 3 was over already, so it's going to be 2, which means that the 7 stays the same. So I'm just going to stop. I don't care what any of the other stuff is. That's good enough. And so my answer is going to be 71.27 rounded. So that's my final answer. Okay, so now we're on the you do. So you go ahead and try this one, 6,934 divided by 18. And go until you get stuck or until you get an answer. Push pause, and then when you are either stuck or have an answer, go ahead and push play again. Alright, so you have done 6,934 as far as you can go, divided by 18, as far as you can go, until you either got stuck or you got an answer. And so now let's check it. Put my gel cell, gel cell, gel cell. Okay, 18 into 6 doesn't fit. 18 into 69, that'll go. 18 is close to 20, and 69 is close to 70. So about 20, 40, 60, about 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. If I did 4, it's going to blow up in my face. 8 times 4 is 32. 4 times 1 is 4. 5, 6, 7 is 72. Too big. So put the 3, and that's 54. 9 take away 4. 6 take away 5. Check and make sure remainder is smaller than divisor. It is. Bring down the 3. That's close to 20. That's close to 160. So 20, 40, 60, 81. 20, 40, 60. That's 8 times. So I'm going to try 18 times 8. Because it's a little less. This is a little less than 20, so I think it's going to fit. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 1 is 8. Plus 6. 14. So it's 144. And that fits. And it won't fit another time. It's going to be too high. 9 times 1 is 9. Plus 7. It's 162. Yeah, that's too high. So it's the 8. I was just double checking, and that's 144. Subtract, I'm going to have to borrow. 13 take away 4 is 9. 4 take away 4 is nothing. 1 take away 1 is nothing. Yes, that's definitely less than 18. And throw down the next player, the 4. 18 into 94, my math lab already has some answers for me too. 18 times 4 was 72. 18 times 5. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 4 is 9. So 5 gives me 90. So this division was just all like we've been doing. Yes, that's less than that, so I can continue. This is the only change that we had from the last couple days. Oops, that's what I meant for that to be red, sorry. Is our remainder then, we're going to save it by putting a decimal and a lifesaver from the lifeguard being thrown down to the drowning 4. 18 into 40, well 18 times 3 over here was too much. So it's going to be 18 times 2 probably. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 1 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So it's going to be 2. Subtract. 10 minus 6 is 4. Sometimes this happens, which makes it kind of easy to know what's coming next. Throw the lifesaver down. And if you notice, I just did 40, and here it is again. This is going to just start repeating. And this is the answer. The actual answer is going to be 385.222222 forever and ever and ever. Because this whole repeat down here is going to keep happening. That can be represented by just putting a line above the 2 that tells everybody that it's going to go 2 forever. But since we've been rounding to the 100th place, then we'll just do it that way. But now we'll just saved ourselves a bunch of math, because I know that's going to be 2, and I also know that the next one's going to be 2, because it's going to be 2 forever. So when I round it, this is this number is a low number, a stay number, so it's going to have that stay. So you're going to have 385.22 as your answer. Hopefully that's the answer you got. We're going to do another you do, so hold on for a second. Okay, one more you do to see how you do. In case you got stuck on the last one, I wanted to give you another chance to go for it. So 5,634 divided by 32, and the remainder goes on into the decimal. Go ahead and push pause, try it, and when you're done, or when you get stuck, then go ahead and push play, and you can see how we did. Okay, so you have come up with an answer, or you got stuck somewhere along the way, and let's just see if you came up with the right answer, or if we can get you unstuck. 5,634 divided by 32. Draw the jail cells to keep things where they belong. And I already know we'll have to probably extend that out. Okay. 32 into 5? No, it doesn't fit. 32 into 56? Yes, only once, because 30 and 30 is 60. It's already too high. I really don't need to do this. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. I knew that that was going to be too high. So, one time only. 6 take away 2 is 4. 5 take away 3 is 2. Check to make sure remainder is less than divisor, and then invite the next player. Ooh, 32 into 243, that's a lot. So this is close to 30, and this is close to 240. Take the 30 and then 240. They have matching zeros, so I just kind of ignore them for a second. And 3 goes into 24 8 times. So I'm thinking that probably it's going to be something close to 8, 7 or 8. I'm going to try 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 2 is 24, plus 1 is 25. Blew my eyebrows off. That was just a little too much. Times 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22. That's going to be the answer, 7. And then we have 224 from over here. Subtract. 13 take away 4 is 9. 3 take away 2 is 1. Check and make sure remainder is less than divisor. It is. And bring down the next player. 194. This is close to 30, and this is close to 200. So 30, 60, 90. Maybe 6 times, because I'm just doubling the 30, 60, 90. There's 3 times, so I'm just guessing 6. And over here it was pretty close. So 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 1 is 19. Yay, it's 6. 6. And 192. 4 take away 2 is 2. 9 take away 9 is nothing. 1 take away 1 is nothing. Check and make sure remainder is less than divisor. It is. Okay, and so I've got a drowning 2. So I do the decimal and I carry it up. It goes right on the jail cell line. And then the lifeguard throws the lifesaver to the drowning 2. Now this is interesting because 32 does not fit into 20. And it's really, really important that you say so. So I'm saying right now it doesn't fit. Okay. So of course then this would be 0, which still gives me a remainder of 20, which is still less than this. So now I throw down the next lifesaver, and that's now 200. 32 into 200. If you look at my math lab, you can already see which one it's going to be. We already have it over there. So it's going to be 6. That's 192. I'm running out of room. And I got to borrow, and that's an 8. Nothing, nothing. And remember, we had the 100th place, oops, the 10th place, and then the 100th place. And I just needed to do the 1000th place so that I know to round it. 32, I'm just going to do 32 times 5. Remember how I said I just need to know where it falls on the side of 5, on the low side or the high side of 5. So 10, 15, 16. Okay, so whatever this number is, it's going to be lower than 5. So I will not be pushing that one up. It's going to stay a 6. So my answer is just going to be 176.06 is your final answer. If you are still unsure on this one, you can go back and practice a few of them, or you can come see me and we can find other materials for you, or I can go over a few more practice problems with you. See you later.